welcome in, Lottie. Welcome. Look down. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome. Oh, thank you so much. The sub leader. Remember, you can pick whatever trigger you like. ASMR trigger. Yes. Hi, yes. Welcome in as well, bunny. Welcome, class. Welcome. Hi, Glenn. Glenn's here too. Hi, welcome in. Welcome. Everyone's here. Okay, I gotta log in. For my class. Gotta log in for my class. Let me just set this up first. Just a minute. Hi, you. Hi, Spencer. Hi, welcome. Welcome, Salvador. Welcome, everyone. Alright. Nice. How y'all been? It's very good to see you all this evening. Let me just take my glasses off because class hasn't started yet. Hi, everyone. Welcome in to tonight's classroom lesson. Of course. It is I, Cinnamon, your classroom teacher for tonight. Now, make sure you are ready and comfy, and we shall begin our class tonight. Of course, a lesson for tonight is treasures of our world. Now, isn't that interesting? I have this giant. Hi, oh, thank you so much, darling. Thank you so much, yes. Welcome in, darling. Perfect. Alright, I shall begin tonight's lesson then. I'm sure you must all be very excited to learn. I'll have to put my teacher's glasses on. Okay, here we go. Get comfy. Oh, have a good night at work, Gerald. Thank you for dropping by. Now, since I have you all here, why don't I just ask you a very important question? Have you, at any point of your life, wondered what is the meaning of it all? And why do you do things the way you do? Take a moment to think about it, class. I'm sure it has an idea that's come upon your head. But I guess no one, or not that many of us, have an answer to this question. Oh, everyday yes. Wow, class. Don't you worry, because tonight Today, I will show you the secret that I have discovered upon my many journeys of study. And of course, I only need just a few hours of time, and you too can harness the truth of the world that we live in. Now come here. I'm gonna need you to pay really close attention. And when I say really close, I mean really, really close attention. Hi Bill, welcome into class, darling. Welcome. Hi Sheena. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the gift, Mother. Now class, come here. I want you to keep your eyes on me as I tell you about what it is that you need to know. Now don't worry, this might be a bit convoluted and big brain material, but I have faith in all of you. Come, just this way, Jack. You see, Chad, I have dedicated my life to mastering and completing this documentation. As you see behind me is a connection of all the things in our world that has led up to this moment. Now, let me show you. Real quick. Now if I can have your attention right here. You see this big area right here. Raccoons. This is to signify the goal of all humanity. You see, that feeling that's been empty inside your soul. The feeling that you've been hiding, that you've been seeking to find. Wow, this is the core of what's missing inside of you right now. Once we put this piece of the puzzle together, you will unlock something that not many people can see. And of course, in order for us to unlock this, I first have to show you a few things about our world. I know you're still quite confused, so let me make it clear for you, Chad. What I'm about to tell you will change your perception of the world forever, and in turn, reveal to you the truth. You see, Chad, long before our society came to be, we were ruled by a very advanced civilization. This civilization built our world from the ground up and was eons more advanced than us. They created the world as we know it. However, their existence has been hidden so far as to every corner of the world, covering everything from our knowledge, our history, their inventions. All of this cover-up has led to the way that we live today. In order for many of us to find our meaning in life and a treasure that must seek, we must first go back in time and realize what it is that we've missed. But don't worry, my child. Your teacher here will make sure you're all safe. Now, of course, before we go on our journey today, I just need you all to sign your permission slips. Matter. You've heard about Raccoon City and their study trips? Yes, yes, yes. That is right. You see, Raccoon City goes by another name in ancient times. The story begins there, in ancient Egypt. Now everyone, I just need you all to sign your permission slips before we go on tonight's journey. Okay? To sign your permission slips, make sure you've collected your card, your safety card. Alright? Make sure that is all prepared, and then we shall begin on tonight's journey. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Good. Now, class, in order for us to travel into the past, I have a device. However, it's not the most accurate, so you have to bear with me, okay, chat? Now, once you're ready, I just need you to come over here. Just over here, chat for me, please. Alright, so, in order for us to go on this trip, you just need to, take a few of these candies. Just a few of these candies for me, please, chat. Just a few of these candies, please. Right here. Alright, just take a few of them. Yeah, just take a few of these candies. Good. Alright, it seems to be working. Let's go, chat. Let's go and travel back to ancient Egypt where our story began. Welcome in, Watermelon. Welcome in, Classy. Welcome. Meow. 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 Is it working? I think it is. No. Chat, I think I made it. Oh, gosh. Welcome in, chat, to the world of ancient Egypt. Now, focus your attention and pay very close attention to your surroundings. You see, as we've arrived at the island of ancient Egypt, we must really keep under cover. As currently, in our current location, the pyramids are still being built. Come, have a look. Welcome in, Joss. Welcome. Hi, Martin. Welcome. Welcome. Hi, Kira. Hi, welcome in. So, at this very moment where we stand, the pyramids are still being built. And that's where our story begins. As you see, long time ago, an ancient civilization lived amongst us. They were a super advanced civilization that carried across the world. However, they had one major kingdom, the Egyptians. They had built their fortress and ground in Egypt. You see the pyramids? These monuments that still last to our very day. Did I build them? No, Kira. The ancient civilizations way beyond the time built these. Mm-hmm. And do you know why they built this, Chad? Not many people know this. However, they knew the answers to everything. And they had found it. But knowing its power, they decided to hide it underneath these pyramids. After many, many years, the pyramids have now been forgotten to time, and their original purpose has been lost and obscured throughout history. However, before this great knowledge could be lost, there was an adventurer. You see, this adventurer knew of the promises that this treasure brought. His name was King Tut, and he had secretly stolen the treasure and buried it across the world in a special hidden location. As all the other kingdoms of the world, ancient China, Europe, Roman, and all the nations discovered that a vast secret treasure has eluded the world, they began. Oh, citizen, you have to use the bathroom? Oh, poor thing. The bathroom is just over there. See those little hills over there? You see those little pupils? If you just want to go there and I'll wait for you. Okay. Alright, we're gonna wait for citizen to go to the bathroom. But as I was saying, as the rest of the world's nations found out about this treasure, they began their attack. And say, many, many years ago, the four main nations of our history, the Europeans, the Romans, the Asians, and the Africans in the Middle East, they all put together their forces to attack ancient Egypt. After a fierce and intense battle, Egypt was no more. However, in order for us, in order to hide this great secret, the great civilizations decided to hide history and to change the past as we know it. How, you may wonder? Well, I'll tell you very soon. All you need to know is that a great treasure was discovered by this advanced civilization in Egypt. And once the other nations had got onto the secret, they had begun their attack. And soon Egypt was fallen and crumpled. And to this day, as the four nations strive on to rule the world, they endlessly try to hide the secret that was once found. However, there are a few that are still alive to this day that know the exact location of this treasure. But I'm sure, well, Chet, while we wait for citizen, what kind of treasures would you like? If you could have anything at all in this world, what kind of treasure would you like? I know a sky guy would like some kisses. Citizen, are you almost done yet? Darling? Darling, are you done? Oh my gosh. Well, if anyone else needs to go to the bathroom, I suggest now is a good time. Because with our next location, I bet you're gonna wanna go. Alright, class. Since you're so eager, I'll let you have a little look before we head out. No, viewer, no viewer. No viewer, chat. Alright. It looks like you are ready to go. Let's begin the next place of a destination. Say, in our time in history, just after the other nations of this world banded together to take down ancient Egypt, it had drew the wrath. You see, because ancient Egypt was so advanced, technology at the time was made to protect the kingdom if there was ever a foe. And so, due to the collapse of the Egyptian kingdom, our world's climate began to change forever. How, you may ask? Well, class, you see very soon. On to our next place. Citizen, you're not supposed to be touching stuff. Oh my gosh. Say chat. I'm so pale. I'm so yellow. As the kingdom of Egypt had begun to fall, catastrophe began to slowly rain down over the world. Waters began to rise, slowly flooding all the civilizations. This was quite a dangerous time, as massive floods carried across the earth, wiping everything. I believe this story might sound quite familiar. In the Bible, there depicts of a great flood. However, the flood was actually more monstrous than expected, but less threatening to our world. Water levels began to rise and rise over time, covering up our massive land surfaces on Earth. Soon, the surface began an almost inhospitable place. of all the mountains surviving. As the water began to rise, animals and humans began to travel up to the tops of mountains to find a new home. And so our world's geography began to change. Our previous massive land surfaces were now covered underwater, and the world was now but a few islands, inhabitable to most. However, the nations that once conquered Egypt left done. They had to start again because the technology was wiped out, but they still managed to survive in the century. But this is where the new world history meets the old world history, where things got covered up. You see, Dad, this was the age of the dinosaurs. Contrary to popular belief, dinosaurs did not roam the world. They only roamed the very tops of the hills that still survived to this day. There are still many more dinosaurs that are scattered underneath our current sea levels. That's right. I mean, it's hard to breathe under here, but don't worry. We have adapted to this change over many years. You see, Dad, let me explain further. As the world began to be covered in this massive ocean, sailing became the most common option for us to travel. This was when the British began to sail, the Vikings began to roam, and of course, the Norwegians and all the bird-faring nations began to develop. And this was also the time where many animals we see today began to develop and evolve. Of course, only the strongest of bunnies survived. But due to this change of the rising levels, Earth's geography also changed, as you'll see and learn in just a second. Let me take you to one of these islands, and I'm sure you know what I mean. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Wacko. Wacko, Wacko. Wacko, Wacko. Now, of course, class, I know I'm a bit, over the place with this topic, but I'm sure that if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and your kind teacher would love to explain any little questions you might have. Hi, Ultimate. Hi, Lucius. Welcome, welcome. Right, let's travel to our next destination, and I'll tell you all about how modern history began to evolve and how the treasure of the lost Egypt city came to existence in our modern history. me, okay? We are at a very dangerous place. Now, what I'm about to explain to you is where our treasure begins to be found once again. You see, in order to continue finding the next protector of this great treasure, the Egyptians who had survived the attack traveled across the remaining lands of Earth that was still above water, hiding the treasure in the most remote islands where monstrous beasts roamed. As you can see behind me, chat, lives the dinosaurs that we know to this day. These dinosaurs were the great protectors of our treasure. Why are you not, chat? Why are you not? So, this island is called Nether Island, and it was the beginning of where the treasure was hidden. As the time began, the Egyptians had buried the treasure that they had deep inside the soil of this land. As most travelers were quite afraid to venture off into this dinosaur-ridden land, the treasure was certainly safe for many years. You read a follow. Until modern history, as archaeologists began to be a field in history, they had slowly dug up the ground and had discovered that there was a treasure hidden here. And so, the Egyptians had to move the treasure once again. But the world as we know it had begun quite different. After the Egyptians had ceased to exist, the remaining nations of our Earth began to build on the remaining islands that still existed. Today, as we know it, we call these islands the continents. The main ones are the Asian continent, the European, and the Americas. Now, class, I know you like to touch cuddly animals, but these are very vicious beasts. If they catch a scent of you, they might just end up devouring you in one go. Now, wouldn't that be scary? Africa! Yes, I forgot. Very smart bunny. Africa didn't have much technology, and they decided to be a neutral in this war. So they did not have much equation into this. Look at that. There's a vicious dinosaur over there. Look at that. Whoosh. Hi, Kick Chat. I'm teaching class. There's a dinosaur. There's a dinosaur, chat. Now, don't worry. Dinosaurs are actually very friendly creatures. And it's just a misconception by the Egyptians, telling everyone the dinosaurs are quite dangerous, so that the treasure would be safe. No, it's just plain kata. Cat is just plain. It won't hurt anyone. Now, chat. Let me tell you a bit more about the remaining continents and the struggle after the floods. As the flood began to overtake Earth, the remaining continents were created, and a new world government was also created over the years. Europe began to continue to conquer many of its lands, and Asia got divided up into many individual nations. However, as the great Egyptian thread disappeared, the nations themselves had lost knowledge of why they fought to know, and say they had continued to build on their own prosperity. And so each nations began to build their own prosperity. Asia began to focus. Asia began to focus on prosperity, peace, and feed. The European nations began to focus on architecture. Many of the countries now developed into the way they were, as you would expect, as our world continued. However, our world slowly began to be ruled from far away. You see, the remaining continents had formed a massive government together in order to hide information on the great treasure. This government became known as the United Nations. The United Nations was created in order to control you and to hide and to hide information about the great Egyptian treasure while they secretly looked for it. But don't worry, let me take you there. Don't wanna know. Let me take you there. Hi, Link. Welcome. Welcome. There. Oh, thank you, water. Enjoy. Would you like to pet a dinosaur before you go, chat? Would you like to touch the dinosaur? You'll have pet out, yeah. Dinosaur. nations discovered that the magic treasure was buried on this island. The Egyptians had to find a different place to hide this treasure. Where, you might? Well, in our next destination, we'll find out very soon where they hid this treasure. Come, class. Make sure you don't take any weird bugs that you find on the ground. It could be poisonous. Okay, don't take any bugs with you. Is that kind of war? No, Chad, look at that. Look how nice they look. Look how nice and demure they look. They look so calm. They look so nice. They're fine, Chad, they're fine. They're friendly herbivores. Yes. They're friendly as dinosaurs. Alright, Chad. Let's go to our next destination. Doesn't look very friendly. He looks quite dangerous. Thank you for the follow. He looks quite dangerous, Jack. Now, chat. Where we are about to enter is the place of Japan. In the 1980s, as Japan was just once again developing their military might, they had discovered that the lost Egyptians had found Japan to be one of the places to hide their treasure. Well, it's quite bright and quite orange. Here you go. The lost Egyptians had discovered that Japan was one of the safest places to hide their treasure. And for quite some time, they had gotten away with it. You see, the treasure for just a few years was actually buried here in Japan. Now, This was a time where the imperialist emperors can rule the country. Think about samurais. How many of you know about samurais, chat? Do you know what a samurai is? Hmm? Do you know what an emperor is, chat? Well, this was a time when Japan was ruled by a great emperor. Like many countries in Asia, a king and queen ruled all of the land. In Japan specifically, an emperor ruled, and under them were samurais. One day, the Emperor of Japan had discovered that the treasure of the ancient Egyptians was hidden in Japan. Now, the Emperor of Japan was quite wise. Knowing that the Egyptians themselves had fallen due to all the other nations wanting to find the treasure, Japan had decided to keep it a secret. And how, you ask? Well, Japan did it in quite an interesting way. They had begun to shut off the whole country from any foreigners. This meant that there were no outsiders, no Europeans, no visitors at all. And so for many years, this land began to develop its own culture, rich in traditions. Come. Though I must recommend you, the dress code in this culture is quite strict. If you're not wearing something in this timeline, then you might just get kidnapped. Oh, look at that, Jet. We've come to Japan in quite a nice time in history. The cherry blossoms are falling. Isn't that just so pretty, Jet? Cherry blossoms. But of course, all good things had to end. Eventually, all the other nations have learned about Japan's betrayal. You see, they knew something was up. No country had ever shut up its borders like this before. And so, all the other nations began to fight back. They had bought their cannon ships, and threatened Japan that they open their borders with the rest of the world, or they will open fire. This was quite a scary time, and under the overwhelming threat, Japan had caved in. However, with a stroke of luck, the treasure was nowhere to be found. As the Western countries raided Japan, looking for the hidden trace of the treasure, not a single trace of it was found. And so, the treasure eludes the new world government once again. But as the remaining Egyptians and realized that the Western countries were far powerfuler than Japan. Where else is the best place to hide the treasure than under the country that was the most powerful at the time? And so, the treasure was snuck on a boat and put way far across the seas into what we now know as Europe. So, why don't we go and see what the new world of Europe has in store? Before I go, Chad, would you like some snacks? I heard that Japan has really yummy snacks back in the day. They have candies, noodle. Oh, they have such more yummies. I guess we should stay for a little bit and eat some yum yums. Why'd you pick something that's so yummy? That's so yummy. Butter! Do you want it to be more? Do you want it to be more? You know what, Chad? If I was to make an ancient treasure, I would make it food. Yeah, I think the most important thing and the biggest treasure is probably food. I've had my fill. Let's travel to our next destination. Yes. It appears we have landed. Chad, this is the 19th century Europe, just after the Great Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution had provided everyone with a means to enjoy a better standard of life. And so the technology began to advance. The greatest scientists of our time then began using the most modern techniques to find this hidden treasure. And soon enough, they had found it. It was a treasure so big and so wonderful, like nothing they had ever seen before. So wonderful, in fact, that they had to hide the treasure now. But it wasn't just any other treasure that can simply be hidden. You see, this treasure is like no other and had to be hidden with more than just history. Hi Mio, welcome. Hi Sika, hi Mitchell. Hi Centropy. Hi Manana. Hey y'all. Oh my gosh. So, as the Europeans thought of a way to distract the public from this treasure, they had to think of an even treasure, even bigger treasure that confused the mind. What they thought of still is very important to this day, which is gold, jewelry, money, and religion. You see, each of these treasures are treasures of the mind, the physical, and they distract us from the real treasure, the truth. Religion protects us to let us know that the treasure is already found, and gold and money distracts us from treasure that we cannot see. As the world began to evolve, people soon forgot about this treasure and began to focus on the fake treasure that the Europeans had invented to distract us from the truth. Hi Leon, welcome. But no matter, Chad, no matter. You see, I didn't bring us to this era simply because I wanted to enjoy the luxurious life of being a princess. You see, I know where the treasure is hidden. It's hidden somewhere in these corridors. And maybe, just maybe, if we're lucky, I can sneak in and get the treasure for myself. You won't tell anyone we hold class. I've been a very good teacher. I don't think you should rattle me. Alright, Chad. You stay right here, and I'll go look for the treasure. I think it was discovered and hidden in a vault, but I'll go look around. think I got it. I think I got the treasure. I think that card's coming our way. Ja, we have to go. We have to go back. Quick. Quick, Ja. We gotta go back. Hide. 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 Oh. Oh no. I think I lost the treasure, Chad. Oh. Oh wow. You know, I guess we'll never find what the treasure was. Well, Chad, I guess maybe the treasure wasn't that important after all. And maybe the treasure was just the friends we made along the way. Guys want some mouse sounds? Of course. Hip steps up. Hip steps up. I'll give us some mouse sounds a bit. So yeah, Chad, I guess we'll never find what the treasure really was. But I guess that's alright. Friends, it sounds a bit easy, really. Well, I don't know, Chad, I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that if I ever found the treasure, I would be hesitant to share it with anyone. I'll just have it all for myself. But you know, we never really do know what the treasure really was. And I mean, like, if I did find it, you would let me have it all to myself, wouldn't you, Chad? Hi, Megan Fox. I think that if I ever found the treasure, you would let me have it, Chad. You would let me keep it. I can share it. Of course, of course. Alright, I guess that's only fair. Anyways, today's class is over. I'm just gonna go rest and have a little sleep. Yeah, there's nothing abnormal. I'm just gonna have a little sleep tonight. Alright, Chad, I guess class is over. So yeah, you can all go home now, and I'll just do my thing of, I guess thank you for coming. I guess thank you for coming, everyone. treasure all along. Thank goodness Chat didn't find out about this. Otherwise, I had to share this big carrot. Jai's still here. Oh. What? Yeah. The real treasure is the friends. Is the friends we made along the way. Yeah, that's what the treasure is. Mm. Mm. Oh. Alright. I just really you like they just Alright, Chad, well, tonight's lesson didn't turn out as informative as I hoped it will. I was actually trying to I was actually trying to mix in some One Piece world history along with our world history. But my brain couldn't exactly put it all together. But this is the treasure, Chat. This is the treasure. The carrot is the treasure. This is the treasure, Chat. Ta-da! No, Jared wants to pick her. Where's Jared? Here. Frog can have a little bit of card. Just a little bit. Frog can have a little bit of card. It doesn't turn me to a bunny. It just makes me stronger. So yeah, everyone, that was the class tonight. I'm sorry it wasn't the best class. That wasn't the best class. But I hope you learned a lot about history and things. And of course, everything I told you was real, by the way. I'm distracted. Because I look so sophisticated. Sophisticated. I think I look quite sophisticated on my chat. Do you like it? Do you think I look smart? Do I look smarter, chat? Oh, the smartest bun. Yes, the smartest. Did you realize my stick was just a longer? Now, chat. Since I'm the authority figure right now, I'm gonna look very educational. Class is over. Yeah, class is over. Gonna get some natures. H. Yeah, this is really H. I. P. S. D. E. S. D. R. O. Y. R. I'm sorry, here's more. Which outfit was your favorite, Chad? Which outfit did you like? Maybe I'll wear Marv then. School outfit. I don't have the school outfit on this model right now. Sorry, Esther. I don't have school outfit. I just have the Egyptian outfit and the yukata and kafan. Bayonet. Oh, you like glasses? Oh, Lisa does. Is it because I look so educated? I look so educated. Educated. Oh, yes. I just like how detailed the glasses look. They look so real. No! The feed world, no! 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 No way. It's a dance. Be the whole dance. Yeah, that happened. There you go. I'll just be like, this is spicy. Was it? Hello? Do you mind if I just rest my body here? Oh, that'll be fine. I need an office. Should I? What do you think about an office ASMR chat? What do you think about? What do you think about fun. An office ASMR. Should we do an office ASMR with these glasses? With these glasses. Hi, Tsuki. Welcome, Tsuki. Welcome to our class. We have just finished class and now we're just messing around. We're just messing around, Natsuki. Oh, here we go. Chad, I need some volunteers. Who can hold who wants to hold who wants to be my bra? Who wants to hold wants to be my oh. Office ASMR, okay, I guess I can do an office ASMR, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I got some hats. Oh, I got some hats. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, darlings. Thank you so much. Oh, mods, can we get a shout out for Aether and Ski, please? Aether and Ski, they both stream chat. They both stream. What dinner's on the table? I don't know. So this is the Egyptian outfit. It's like a doll dancing outfit. Oh, you got the outfit. Had a chat. You also this. Wow, what do you mean someone is asking for help? Yeah, this is how you cut down. This is how you cut their outfit. The glasses. Just show my glasses again. With the glasses. The glasses. Chad, I don't know what's going on, but my mama told me that you gotta just mind your business. We don't think we should be touching that. That seems pretty dangerous. We just gotta mind our business. Not funny. Not funny, Chad. Cause leave it on. We know you touched that. We know you touched that. I don't want to touch that, Chad. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. We have a carrot. We can have this in the kitchen. message out. I'll stand next to you. I don't know what you want. But I think message out. Thank you for coming tonight, chat. Thank you for coming, everyone. Thank you for coming. I hope you learned a lot about history of the wild and dinosaur and rar. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming, everyone. Hope you learned a lot tonight. It was my pleasure showing you around, showing you my cute outfits. I just had a bunch of really nice worlds that I didn't know what to do with, so I thought I'd put it all together, you know, in one lesson. And show you everything. Yeah. It's okay, tonight was a question lesson and it's a bit short. It's a bit short. Question lesson is short. But chat. But our next YouTube video is out now. It's on public. Next YouTube video is out now. It's public. You can check it out on the link. You can check it out on the link in the left top corner, top right corner, right there. Press that. Press that. And make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTubes. And comment down below next thing that you like to help the algorithm. And make sure you follow us on Patreon because YouTube doesn't support small creators like me. And that's it. That's it. Thank you. Alright, everyone. And that's it for tonight's stream. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you learned something about the world, and I know I wasn't the best teacher this time, but at least I had fun showing you my outfits. Alright, everyone. I hope you all get a nice sleepy time. Oh, thank you for joining. Thank you all for joining tonight. I'll see you all very much next time. Make sure you check out the YouTube video on your way out. Check it out. Well, today, to just say. Thank you all for following us, everyone. Have a very wonderful night, everyone. Bye bye. Oh wait, hold on. Chat, hold on. Wait, no, chat. Someone redeemed the feet wow. Someone redeemed the feet wow. We gotta go to the feet wow. We gotta go to the feet wow, chat. Unless I can refund the credits. Water. Do you still wanna go? Don't worry. You know Sharon, for coming tonight. I'll see y'all next time. Bye. What do you want, Kicksters? Scratch. What would you like? What happened? Oh, I don't know. Thank you so much, Ariel. Thank